Hey there. What if you guys could go from 285,900 monthly views every single month inside of your Pinterest account? Do you think that you'd be able to turn some of those people into students? Well, that is exactly what our guest today has done. I have with me Suzanne Davis, and she has gone from having 0 people viewing her Pinterest page to now there being 285,000. I mean, that's a huge number. Now, Suzanne Davis has been inside of our Insider Secrets Club forever. I feel like it's been like almost like 3 years that you've been part of our community, and she's always giving back, and she's always doing amazing things. And I love the ability that she has to be able to share with other people her experience and be able to lift people up and ask the questions that she needs to ask in order to build her business up. So it's been awesome getting to know this amazing woman. So I want you guys to help me welcome Suzanne Davis. Hey, Suzanne.
Hi. Oh, that was such a lovely introduction, Joanne. I'm not sure I can live up to that.
Yeah, you can, because it's you. There's nothing in there that wasn't stated, that wasn't true, because it's all you, girl, which is awesome. We love being able to hang out with you and just your personality is so fun. And that's what I love about getting to know like other online tutors is that, everybody brings something different to the group, which is really, really awesome. And you just have this ability to want to help other people that is tremendous, and it's been amazing getting to know you over the years. I remember when you first came in, like you didn't actually come on to any of the live calls in the beginning. You stayed out and kind of watched us from afar for a little while before you started coming on in, and I remember you being just a little bit more quiet and reserved, and really one of those people that just soaks information in when they're learning. And now to see you just like stepping out and helping other people, it's just been incredible.
Oh, thank you.
And I got to tell you, like this community wouldn't be the same without you. It absolutely would not, for sure. So you guys in the chat, do me a favor. Let's see, there should be a live chat going on right now. I'm going to click on here. And if you click on the video, if you're on mobile, click on the video, you're going to start to see people's comments and that kind of stuff. And you can be part of the conversation with us. So this morning, we've got Lisa Vicino in the house. Woo, woo. I just saw Lisa. She was on our tech call. Awesome. And you know what? Lisa was awesome because she uses the bit paper, and we had a new person come on in who had never used bit paper. And I said, hey, let's practice using bit paper. And Lisa like led her through step by step. So that was so super cool. Thank you, Lisa, for that. And we've got Susan Franklin in the house. Ooh, she says, good morning, Suzanne.
Good morning.
We also have Elizabeth, our Learn English with Elizabeth. Elizabeth shared with us yesterday that she does, it's sled hockey. This is something like I'd never heard of before. It is so cool. It's where like you actually are on a sled and you play with 2 hockey sticks when you're doing it. And it's a sport for a lot of people that have that are in wheelchairs, and she's somebody who's in a wheelchair. And I just thought, wow, that's so cool. We have so many amazing people inside of this community. We have people that, from all walks of life, all ages that are making this happen. We've got Simone in the house, woo, woo. And we've got the English coach. We've got the online ESL mentoring program, and Jean Harville. She is so excited. Jean is so excited to hear you talk about your blogging because she has been like a huge Suzanne fan for a long time. We're all really good friends, I think, inside of this community. It's turned into something more. Like I thought it would just be like people like supporting each other, and I feel like inside of the community we've really just become really good friends who just want to help each other out, which is so awesome. So you didn't always start out with people following you, did you?
Not at all. I was desperate to get even a relative to read my blog or like my Facebook page.
Yeah, and I think that is so, people need to hear like our origin story, like how we started and all of that stuff, because I think when you're getting started, you can become so overwhelmed with everything that is before you that you need to do to get a business. And you see all these other people that have all of these views or all of these people that are, getting success, and you think, why not me? but what they don't see is all the hard work that had to go into it to be able to get to the place that they are. And that's exactly what you've done. But before we go on into more about your blogging and that kind of stuff, tell us, you're an academic writing coach. Tell us more about your experience in the college system, because that's where you kind of got your start with helping and tutoring and all of that kind of stuff.
Right. So when I was working in the university, a lot of what I would do with my students, because I would teach really that first year writing seminar, I would teach academic English, writing for college, writing for graduate school, and all of those things. And so I learned a lot about teaching people in the workshop style, working with them one-on-one and in groups. And I really loved that experience of working with students in those smaller settings, because that was where I was making the biggest difference and the biggest impact. And I loved working with those students because they were so excited about what they were studying and what they were learning at that point. You know, it was something where they had made this choice that they were going to go into this direction.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so then how did you step back from that and then decide that you wanted to do online tutoring?
Well, because I was making such a big difference one-on-one with students, I felt like that was the best way to teach them. And at the time, I was balancing teaching all of those classes, but then I would have students see me every week, and that was every single writing student during my office hours. And so my office hours weren't just the 2-hour office hours that you have for each class. I mean, I would be having like 20 hours of office hours, and
Wow.
I could only work with students for 15 minutes. And while that was really good what I could do, I felt I could do more if I just did this through tutoring and coaching. And then when I learned how to do it online and all of the resources that I could bring into them, it was just super exciting.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, absolutely. And you love that ability to be able to make that impact, but it felt like it was almost like that impact that you felt you were able to give was kind of being squashed a little bit in the system that you were placed in, and you couldn't help people as much as you wanted to be able to help them. Is that accurate?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, awesome. And it sounds like you found a great mix. And um, how did you end up deciding, after you like created your business plan and you got your website up and going, how did you decide that blogging was going to be the area where you wanted to become an expert so that people could find you and hire you from all over the world?
Well, it really was the only thing that I considered doing. I didn't consider video or podcasting at that time. Those just weren't really natural things for me. Writing is more natural. And I felt like it's a writing craft, just like any other writing genre. And if you study it and you work at it, you can be really good at it. And I just believed that I would get really good at it.
Yeah, absolutely. And you ended up networking with some other tutors and being able to hone your craft together that were inside of the community as well. It's kind of like, you know, a split off group, like, hey, let's just help each other with being able to learn this. And so you have spent, I feel like, globs and globs and globs of time on being able to learn how to do this and how to do it well. It was almost like it just became your passion to be able to learn everything that you could absolutely learn about blogging. Would that be accurate?
Well, it was definitely an obsession. I don't know how much of a passion it was in the beginning, but it definitely was an obsession, and it was really where I felt I needed to go with my business.
Awesome. We've got some other people who have joined us. We've got Kathy Weans in the house. Woo, woo. We've
Hi,
got Natalie
Kathy.
Marco. Anna Edmondson. We've got Penrose Tutoring, Ann Mitchell. You guys, I always love it when, oh, we've got Terry in the house. Oh my
Hi,
God.
everyone.
Everybody is coming on in. I absolutely love this. So keep commenting, you guys, and feel free to ask any questions that you guys have for Suzanne as well, because that will definitely help us be able to give you guys some information that you want to be able to learn as well. So you moved on, you started learning like how to craft blog posts and all of that. And you ended up writing a blog post about your freebie. Tell us about that.
All right. I wrote that a year ago exactly today. So it was May 2nd, 2018. And I'd had a freebie on a roadmap to revising academic writing for a final paper. And I thought, oh, that's great. But nobody was really excited about it. So I came up with this other idea, which was a guide to how to write a research paper that will blow your professor's mind. And I put a lot of work into all of those steps that I could guide students through. And I thought this would make a great blog post.
Mm-hmm.
And then on that blog post, I could have another link to the freebie. So I wrote this really detailed, step-by-step, clear blog post about it, how to write a research that how to write a research paper that professors will love.
Mm.
And I broke it down really clearly. I designed an infographic that went through step-by-step what they could do. And so now it's up to 3,100 shares because it's evergreen.
Yeah.
Everybody at some point in college or graduate school asks, how do I write a research paper?
Right, right. And so now you've given them tools to specifically be able to do that. That is so awesome. And you said it's got 3,100 views so far in just 1 year, but it's not content that is really going to disappear. And it can continue to get you found over and over again by the exact people who need your services.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. That's pretty sweet. That's pretty awesome. So Lisa was wondering, what do you wish that you knew back when you started blogging that you know now?
Let's see. That's tough.
You're like, oh wow, that caught me off guard.
Yeah. I would say I wish I knew more about spreading blogs and where to spread them, where to post them, and how to get them going on Pinterest. The sharing piece, I had the writing piece down pretty quickly, but that whole sharing and getting people to go back to your blog and learning that process, that took a long time.
Yeah, and the fact that you don't have to write a blog once, it goes out there and then you're done with it.
Yeah.
Right, like you can actually share that at random times throughout the year to kind of give it life and resurface it again.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And as long as it's a topic that is evergreen, and for those of you new to that terminology, evergreen means something that is sort of a staple. It's a piece of content that's always going to be helpful. And it's not just seasonal or something that's a trend post.
Yeah, for sure. And so when Margarita wants to know, when you are structuring your blog, there's different formats and that kind of thing, isn't it, for the type of blog that you're doing? But is there like a structure that somebody who's beginning to blog that they can keep in mind, or like a couple of tips that you can give that will help them as they begin wrapping their head around it?
Okay. So always break your blog down into sections. So if it's a list poem, then really the sections are going to be your introduction. And always in an introduction, I start with what's called a lead. And the lead is a question or some kind of sentence that's going to really hook people and also show what this blog is going to be about. And so in that introduction, you're just setting up maybe why this is important, and then really what you're going to do in that blog. And it's really not very long, the introduction.
Mm-hmm.
And then I have the larger section. So for how to, it would be like a big bold section on how to write a research paper. And then I'd have another section, step 1, whatever the title of that is, step 2, step 3, and just go through breaking it into sections. Now, in those sections, don't write long paragraphs. Keep your paragraphs short. Don't listen to any of your English teachers from way back. You don't want these long, detailed paragraphs. You want to make sure there's a lot of white space between things. So you can have one sentence. I try and keep it so that my longest paragraph is about 4 lines.
Okay.
And I said lines, I don't mean sentences.
Mm-hmm. Right, because it becomes overwhelming on the eyes to read, right? It becomes, when you take a look at something that is a lot of text, I feel like for me, I get overwhelmed and then I just skip out. So it's almost like you need to format it in a way so that people can read it online with like the bold headings. You mentioned spaces in between those headings, even using different kinds of font at times, or bolding words at times, or lists. Those kinds of things help it set it apart so that people can read it easier. You had mentioned before too that you add images on in there, which is another part of the formatting piece. And you talked about infographics. What have you learned about like infographics and how that helps you with Pinterest?
Infographics are something visual that takes really the meat of your post, of that important content, and makes it easy and clear to understand.
Mm-hmm.
And because it's visual, the eyes remember it, the mind remembers it more, and the eyes are attracted to it. And it's something that gets pinned and shared more on Pinterest because somebody can just go back to that. They don't even have to read a whole blog post. They've still got the meat of that information.
Oh my
And
gosh.
so those are something that get shared like wildfire.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. That's awesome. Simone wants to know, and I think I'm pronouncing her. I'm not putting the accent in the right spot, so I apologize. I noticed yesterday when you came on into the call that I'm like, oh, I'm not accenting it right. But she had asked, how often do you post?
Okay, when I first started, it was every week. Now that the blog has gotten bigger and I get shares almost automatically on some of them, I've taken like 2 weeks sometimes.
To write
And
one blog post.
right.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
think it's really key for people to know that this isn't a strategy that you have to put into place daily. And I think that's what begins to overwhelm them. And at one point, people were saying, oh, post daily, but do short posts. And I think the game has kind of changed. Like a longer post is actually better. A well thought out, great content post is going to be better and get more traction than a post that is short and like there's nothing there. What are your thoughts?
Oh, definitely. That was really outdated, that advice from, I would say, at least 3 or 4 years ago. That was changed.
Yeah.
People really, a lot of bloggers just do it once a week. I see some that do it twice a week, but I think for what we're doing in the tutoring business, if we can deliver one really great piece of content a week as a blog post that's rich and that's clear, and that will do much better.
Yeah, absolutely. And you have to think about like, this is all about being of service and adding value to people. And so whether they move forward with you or not, it doesn't matter. But we do have to have a way for them to move forward with us. And so in your blog post, do you include anything in there that allows them, if they wanted to hire you, they could take that next step?
Well, I do have a call to action.
Mm-hmm.
And that call to action isn't always hire me.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there are times where I've put at the end of a post, because it would relate naturally to a consultation,
Sure.
how to, a link to a consultation form or something like that. But generally, it's a call to action, like to share this, or to get a download,
Mm-hmm.
because I do have different ones like that. And sometimes it's just a call to action about commenting
Yeah.
and getting that feedback from
How
them.
how easy is it to get comments on blogs?
You have to directly ask for it,
Uh-huh.
and it's best in a question.
Yeah. And you feel like people are engaging with you, and they are like answering those questions and that kind of stuff.
I felt it more in the beginning.
Okay.
So I've switched it up now to more tying it to what I want them to do, like sign up for a webinar or something that
Sure.
relates to a research paper or another freebie I create.
Yeah. That's awesome. And this has all then led into you being able to also have an email list. So when they download that freebie, they are getting on your email list so that you can continue to stay in communication with them. And so now you're able to send them when you have more great content. You're able to, put in kind of like a soft sell of like, hey, if you're interested in a free consultation, you can take that next step with me, and you can add that into your email list. And you started kind of reviving your email list. It kind of died for a little while and you brought it back. What has your experience been with now that you have you started engaging with your audience a little bit more with your email list?
Well, I did get people responding to me directly. Like,
Okay.
oh, I want to, I have a question about this, or I want to know about your services and things like that. So that does help. And like just today, I sent one out to get people to view my blog post. I find that those are easy ones to put together
Yeah.
when you have content,
Yeah.
and those work really well.
Awesome. Yeah, that is super cool. Now Anne's adding on there. Yeah, like that 1,000 words are best. And I was actually reading a blog post by Neil Patel. He's a huge blogger out there in the network marketing kind of world. And he had said like his blog posts are 3,000 words at like on the bottom end. Like he is just delivering like so much content that it will blow your mind. And so don't be scared to ever give too much information about what it is that you do. Now, some people, they have this false belief that if I give too much information, they won't want to hire me. What are your thoughts about that?
I don't think that's true, because I can give them a blog post explaining how to do something, but then they still need that practice, and they still need to get that feedback and coaching on how to do it.
Exactly.
You can only absorb so much information and just be able to learn it on your own.
Yeah. And would it be the worst thing in the world if they took action on something that they learned from you, got great results, and now because of that, they're like, oh my gosh, I want to continue learning with this person because they know what they're talking about.
Yeah.
And that's, I find that is what happens more so. And so to not worry about that. Now, I know you had a lot of fears when it came to blogging and getting out there and all this kind of stuff. Tell us about, because I know that everybody is going to be able to connect with where you were at when you first got started. So what was that for you? What were those fears?
Well, I would say the first fear was the technology piece.
Mm-hmm.
And really, would I be able to do all of that? I do have WordPress, which was recommended by a lot of bloggers. And if you are a tech person, it's you probably will have a quicker learning curve than I did, but I had a huge learning curve that I had to overcome. So the tech piece was a big fear. Like, would I ever get this out? And then the other fear wasn't that I wouldn't be able to write it, because I always believe I can learn how to write something.
Yeah.
And that if you just commit to it, you'll get better.
Yeah.
But that no one would read it.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. And you brought up that whole WordPress piece. Oh my gosh. I can't tell you, like, this is the problem, you guys. I know that you want to learn how to run like your online tutoring business and all of this. And so you search videos and you search content and you're online and you're searching. And I think the number one worst piece of advice out there is that anybody can handle WordPress and it's the easiest thing to learn. A, it is not. It's a lie. You might break it, and there's no support. Okay. And so then you have to hire somebody, which is going to cost you a lot of money in order to support you when that happens. Um, and so, and I'm saying, because I've had to spend $600 on my WordPress site to get it fixed. So I'm not sharing this from a place of everybody needs to buy Wix. I'm not an affiliate of Wix, guys. I love Wix because of its simplicity, the ability to be able to create an awesome looking website that is search engine optimized so that people can find me and I'm able to put content on there. I can continue to put content on there on my own. I don't have to hire somebody to do it. And it's like the cheapest option to go with at the end of the day, because you could start it for free. And then when you are ready to get a URL to put your own URL on there, it is the easiest to use. What were some of the problems that you ran into with, I know you had a nightmare of a story with WordPress. I hope you don't mind sharing just a little bit of it with us.
Okay. It was really about making it so that my posts could be shared on Pinterest. There was something wrong with it and I couldn't do it directly from my website. So I wanted to get that fixed. So I went to Fiverr. I have not had good experiences with Fiverr. And, I looked for somebody who could fix it. And I tried this one person who swore he could fix it, and he didn't do anything other than give me an SSL certificate, which I already had. I did not need that.
Right.
And then said, please give me a 5-star review, and then I'll give it back to you. And I gave him a 4.5 star because I didn't feel like giving him a 5-star because it hadn't worked yet.
Right.
And then he made it so that my website, I couldn't access it, it was offline until I gave him that 5-star review. So, so if you use WordPress, you have to really know how to fix it yourself, or pay somebody much more than I tried to get.
Right. Or you, and some people, they might have a spouse or something that's like really like WordPress proficient, and that's cool. Like, go with it. Like, I'm not saying like don't go with WordPress at all, but I'm telling you from a teacher standpoint, most of us know how to teach. We don't know how to set up our business. And so if you're looking for something that's easy and not overwhelming, then sticking with something like Wix or, some of these other like out of the box, like website things are going to be better. My favorite one is Wix, just because that's what I started with. And I feel like they just keep growing and getting better. So yeah, it is a great, great tool. Jean would like to know, do you include video in your blog posts?
I have. I've done some video posts, and surprisingly, those posts don't do well. I don't know if it's just my presence on video, or if in a blog post people are looking to get the answer really quickly, and so they don't want to watch a video on top of reading the post. But it works really well for some people. For some people on Pinterest, their blog is so great and they built this incredible following. It just hasn't worked for me. And that's probably because it's me.
Well, you're a writing person. I mean, that's what you do. And so writing is your forte, and that's what you have to really think about at the end of the day. And so when I talk about, inside of our community, that once you get all the basic pieces in place of your business, it's time to now spread the word with your business in an online presence way, using a content strategy, whether it's podcasting, blogging, creating images, or video, you choose something that you feel is your forte. For me, it was always video. Yet I kept hearing people say, blog, you got to blog, you got to blog, you got to blog. Don't listen to like what everybody else out there is saying in the world. Okay. Like that is going to lead you down a rabbit hole that you don't want to go down into. You can try different things out and feel and kind of get a feel for it and see like, what do I enjoy doing? I think that's really powerful to at least get some exposure and do that kind of stuff. But once you find out what your forte is, you need to definitely stick with it. And for Suzanne, that is blogging. And it makes sense. Her audience wants to read what she's writing because they want to get better at writing. And she's going to have that step-by-step kind of formula for them to help them be able to create the writing that they would like to and desire to create themselves. So now that you are, how often would you say that you're getting contacted by people for like consultations and that kind of stuff?
Every week or every 2 weeks, but whether they actually show up for the consultation is another thing sometimes. But yeah, and it works pretty well because some of them, they'll download the freebie and then just on that first email is, the PS about, I'd like to offer you a free consultation, and people just respond to that first email.
Yeah. And Lisa mentioned too that she made the switch in the beginning. Our very first conversation that we had, she was like, I'm using WordPress. And I'm like how proficient, like I'm always scared to ask people like, how proficient are you with it? Like, because I don't want people to feel bad that I'm going to give them different advice. But lots of people think they need to hire somebody to help them with their website. And I'm going to tell you, like, if you go with like Wix or something, you don't have to hire anybody to help you with that stuff. It's so easy to use. And then you have complete control. There was a woman, and I share this story with you guys because this is real stuff that happens. She got a call from an SEO place that said, hey, we'd like to help you set up a website so that you can get found more. She had an in-person tutoring business at the time. And so they convinced her to pay $10,000. And she sat down. They must have had her like sit down and be like, well, how much money will you make from this? Will it be worth it for you? And she came up with the numbers and she crunched it. And she's like, yes, if I get these results, it would definitely be worth it. She didn't get one lead based off the work that they did. These people are out there. They're out there to really like sell you on an idea that is like common out there, that people are like, oh, if you just have this, it'll work. And then they sell you on this idea that they're going about it the wrong way. And she's like, I want a website that I don't ever have to touch. Well, if you have a website that you never have to touch,
no one's going to touch it.
No one's going to touch it. Exactly. That's a good point. Such a good point. If you have a website that nobody's going to touch, nobody's going to touch it. Like you have to do something with it. You can't just have a website that just sits there like a business card. Nobody wants to see that. So how do you think the traffic to your website has increased based off of the blog that you've created?
It's increased quite a bit. And my largest, when I look at my analytics, by far the largest amount of traffic comes from Pinterest. Mm-hmm. So because I have those blog posts that they can find on Pinterest, and I've done keyword research like you would do for Google or YouTube or anything else. For Pinterest, you look for the keywords that will get your blog post found because it's like a search engine. Mm-hmm. And the content that you have is always there. It can always be found if you have valuable content that people are searching for on Pinterest.
Yeah, it's a matter of being able to create that content that people want, and creating it in a valuable way. Have you found other people that you have downloaded like some of their freebies and you're kind of disappointed with what you've gotten as a freebie and you're like, what the heck is this?
I can't think of any offhand. I'm sure I have. Um, some of them, they're so good at coming up with a freebie concept, but then I go to click on the freebie and I'm expecting, because it's on Pinterest, a blog post or something about what that freebie is. And sometimes it's just the landing to the freebie, and I don't feel like I have enough information. And so that's a mistake I see, because a lot of times, well, just about all the time, if I don't have some content that tells me why I need something,
Mhm.
I usually won't sign up for that and download that.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. It needs to be something that you are going to value, you know?
Right.
And all right, so Terry has said, I'm so proud of you, Suzanne. You have come light years since I met you and can't wait to see which heights you're going to go next.
Oh, thank you so much, Terry. That's sweet.
And then the online ESL mentoring said, what about adding a website builder to WordPress to make it more user friendly? Yeah, I'm not familiar with that concept. So I definitely wouldn't be the person that you would want to ask about that. I've just had such a terrible experience with WordPress that now I just try to stay away from it as much as humanly possible because of that. After it got me the $600, I don't know, it wasn't necessarily a scam, but it was enough to scare me from even playing with them, because when you get a WordPress site, it's unprotected. Just so you know, like you have to actually buy protection for it. So people think that their WordPress site is free, like it doesn't cost anything, it's very low cost or it's very low maintenance, but you still have to purchase at the end of the day something to protect that site. And so I didn't even realize that I didn't have any kind of protection or I needed protection. And so when my website went down, I called Bluehost, which was my host at the time, and I said, "Can you help me with what happened? It's gone. It's like this white thing of death. Is I don't know what to do." And Bluehost the next day emails me and tells me that I am no longer allowed to have my website on their hosting system because I allowed it to get a virus. And the only way that I could get rid of the virus was to call this company called SiteLock. So I call SiteLock. SiteLock tells me, okay, now you need to, you're going to have to spend for every single website you have $50 a month. Now, at that time, I had like 6 different websites through my Bluehost account. I'm like, all right, we are paring it all down. Like, I don't need that one. I don't need that one. I don't need that one. Let's just stick with the one right now that I care about the most. And I had to sign a year's agreement in order to get my site back up and running with Bluehost. And it was the only way that they would accept me back was if I had that protection. I feel like somewhere along the line that it was like, in a way, it was just really dirty business in my mind, to tell me that I couldn't come back in unless it was protected, and I had to specifically protect it with this company that was going to charge me a ton of money. So weird things like that can happen, like with what happened with Suzanne, what happened with me, and I've not heard of one person or one case that has ever had that happen on Wix. Plus, you do have a support team with Wix. They will support you throughout the whole entire process of your website. If you have a question, they've got free question answers that you can get, or you can actually contact them and they'll on the phone, or you can have a live chat with somebody. They have multiple ways to be able to get the help that you need. Not only that, but we're all pretty well versed in how to use it in this community as well, so we can help people when they ever have any problems.
Yeah, I might be the only person using WordPress right now, or one of the few. So
Yeah, for sure. But again, if you are well versed in how to use it and you know how to use it, I'm definitely not saying like don't use it at all. You already have the know-how. You know the things
right.
that can go wrong. You know the ins and outs. Definitely keep going with it for sure. But what I'm speaking to is the newbie who comes in the door, you guys, of deciding they want to become an online tutor. They don't have that. So those tutors, I'm suggesting just go with WordPress out of the box. It's going to save you a lot of time and a lot of money at the end of the day. Yeah, like Jean said, WordPress is an open system, meaning no protection, no service, no help. Boom.
Well, there's a difference between WordPress.org and WordPress.com.
Yeah, there is.
So I
Right.
have WordPress.org, which
Yep.
isn't really an open system.
You're right. You are correct.
I would not use
That always confuses people
WordPress.com
too.
at all because that's not self-hosted. I have my own domain.
Yeah.
And, so there is a big difference between those two.
There is, but it's so confusing. Like people don't even know like the difference between either of those, right? Like, wait, there's two of them?
Right. Yeah.
And they're through the same company.
Right.
So that is what makes it confusing, I think, as well.
Yeah.
It's like when I named my ultimate support group and then my private group, the ultimate support group, that wasn't really such a good idea. Like I had to give it a different name. I had like the ultimate support group, the free group, and I have ultimate support group, the pay group. Oh, and then people were confused. They're like, but I'm part of the ultimate support group. I'm like, oh, I should call this something different.
Yeah.
WordPress has not done that. They still have WordPress.com and WordPress.org. So it's really, really crazy. And Lisa said that she had, and that is why so many people have issues with claiming their site with Pinterest, a pop-up for her email list. Which is, oh, the pop-up is what's causing the problems with Pinterest.
Is it a Pinterest pop-up or is it?
I'm thinking no for her email list, like on her website. Which,
I know that can hurt your Google ranking.
Yeah, for sure.
The pop-up, and it's not great on mobile.
Oh my gosh, it's terrible on mobile. Have you ever tried to hit a pop-up on your mobile device? And you're like, where the heck is X? And like, you're like literally like my face turns red and I'm like, I just want to be able to read the stupid post. And then I like leave the site because I'm so frustrated.
Yeah. I don't use a pop-up. I just have it on my sidebar and I do use Hello Bar, which is good.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Yes. Jean said that pop-ups annoy her too.
Yeah.
Which good. I'm glad I'm not the only one like that has like that issue. So that's really important then for people to know is that exists. That's a problem, and there's a way to be able to solve it. So inside of the comments, you guys, I have what are your fears about blogging? Okay. We want to know what they are, and we want to be able to help you with those fears. So definitely in the comment section. So we've got a chat and comments. So what's the difference between the chat and the comments? The chat is where you guys are able to chat with us live. Now, the cool thing about YouTube is we get to hang out. People who miss the live, they're going to be able to watch the replay. They cannot comment in the chat section. They can only comment in the comment section. So you guys have both available to you. But I want to know, what are your fears when it comes to blogging? Is it not knowing what to write? Is it coming up with ideas? Is it, how do I format it? Tell us, because I have invited Suzanne to do a specific training next Tuesday where she's going to break down for us her 3-step system for not only writing blogs, but getting them found. And get this, you guys, having other people share it for her. Mind-blowing. Awesome. So we want to make sure that we are giving you guys the content that it is that you want. But in order to join us for that training, you need to sign up. There is a link inside of the description. All you need to do is go to that description. If you can't find it, it's usually right underneath, but I'm also going to, just for you guys that are here right now, I am going to put it in the chat if I can handle it, if I can figure this all out. All right, we're going to close this. We're going to go here, and there's the chat. Perfect. And now I'm going to put into here, paste, boom. I did it. I love technology. I love technology. See, we shouldn't be scared of technology. So many people are scared. I don't know the technology. I can't tutor online. Oh, you'll figure it out. We are so technology laden these days. There's so much technology around. Think about all the things that you can do with technology that you never thought you could do. Like, what's one of the big lifesaver technology things in your life, Suzanne?
Lifesaver ones for business or
Just life in general. Like for me, it's GPS. I mean, like I never knew how to
yeah.
get anywhere before, and now I know how to get everywhere. I don't have to get frustrated. Like I literally would have anxiety like coming on up. But did you know that there are people that don't know how to use GPS? It's not that hard of a system to be able to utilize, but
Right.
people who can learn things like GPS or how to make a phone call on a cell phone, like a smartphone,
Yeah.
you're going to be able to learn the technology. It's not that hard. What are your thoughts about the technology with learning your business?
I think it's easy. And I think you learn things as you need them.
Right.
So you don't need to know every piece of technology and every system out there that tutors use.
Right.
You can
Exactly.
start off with what you need to know
Yep.
and then start learning about these others and then adding them into your business.
Absolutely. The most basic thing I did when I started off was Skype and I shared my screen. That's it. That's what I started off with. Atal Rana. I love his story. So like he didn't have any kind of whiteboard or anything. And so he would this is old. He would just put up he would just put up an actual whiteboard with a math problem. And that's how they did their session. I mean, you can seriously make it as difficult or as easy as you want to. And we want to make blogging easy for you guys. So definitely sign on up, click that link, whether you're watching this on replay, it's in the description, or I just added the link right on up here. Definitely join us. Anna's going to join us. Lisa's going to join us. Jean's going to join us. Woo! I love it. Awesome. Choosing the right content and people that are interested in getting people to read them in the first place. Yeah, that's so pivotal, isn't it? Like being able to
Yeah.
write content for people so that they want to read it, so they want to share it, so that they take those actions you want them to take. I think, can you relate with that fear?
Oh, definitely. Trying to figure out really what people needed
Mhm.
for writing as content. And I was a little bit afraid that, yes, I know some things they need, but are they really going to want to read a post about how to write a thesis statement?
Mhm.
So there are those fears, but once you start doing the research, I look at not just keywords, but I also look at Google Trends
Mhm.
to see how often people are searching for different things per month. The ideas start to come to you just based
Yeah.
on what you've taught, what you know about your students and the questions they ask, and then really with some research that you do out there on the different topics that you can think of.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. So we're going to go into those brainstorming strategies so that you guys can feel real comfortable with that. We'll do that on Tuesday so that you guys can get familiar. Lots of people ask, how long is the training? It's about an hour. So definitely come join us. If you are not, this is the other question I get, if you're not able to join us live, sign up. I'll send you a replay. Okay. It's better live because then if you have questions, you can ask them, right?
Yeah.
Otherwise, you can still ask questions, but it's going to take longer to get your response. And it's just better to be there live so you can experience it with everybody else. That's going to be awesome. So definitely come and join us. Well, fantastic. If you guys have liked this content, want to see other people share their experiences as well, hit that like, hit that subscribe, and hit that bell so that you can continue to stay informed when we have great content like this. And I love, my favorite part is when I get to actually watch people like the video. So I'm coming on over here. I'm going to do a refresh on here in like 1 minute and just see how many people have liked it, because that's really awesome. So we have like 7 people who've liked it so far. We've got a few more people that are joining us live. 16 people are with us live right now. Woo-hoo. Oh yeah. You know what? In 1 year, you guys, we're going to have like 160 people live with us. Oh yeah.
Times it 10.
Our business is just like this. Online tutoring is just like soaring off the roof, and there's no other community out there that is going to support and guide you through this entire process like we've got going on in here. This is the best place to network, to learn. Now, of course, I feel that way because it's my community. But Suzanne, what are your thoughts about the Insider Secrets Club? What's your experience been with? You've been here for 3 years. Why?
Yeah. Because I was clueless from the beginning and I needed that support knowing how to even put together my website, what to write. And I also needed to get the confidence in it and accountability. So it's really helped me. I'm really glad I started from the very beginning.
Yeah, awesome. Well, thank you guys so much. And thank you, Suzanne. I wanted you guys, let's give Suzanne like a big, huge boom cha for being here. If you guys remember, our boom cha in the YouTube live, there's emojis in there. Did you know that? There's like an actual emoji button, and you can put fist and you can put the firework on in there. But I'm going to give you the real boom cha in here. This is the original version of our boom cha. This is where it all started. Matt Mankin, if you're out there, this is for you and Suzanne. You ready? On count of 3. I'm doing this all by myself, I feel like, but that's okay. 1, 2, 3. Boom! Sha!
Thank you so much.
And thank you. I'm so stoked about next Tuesday and being able to just really dive on in. And just so you guys know, we can't all be present in every single area. So I'm going to share a little tidbit with you. I've hired Suzanne to help me with some of this stuff. And so that's why I know that she's an expert in this, because she has brought my page, which would have 0 views because I don't take that much of an active interest in it, and she's brought it up to 20,000 views. So, you know, there are great things that are happening, and I don't really have a lot of content out there that's really to share because I've got all videos. So it's really, really awesome. Like, she has been like my right hand go-to girl when it comes to this kind of stuff, and I can't wait for her to share her expertise with you. So definitely join us. And until then, enjoy the rest of your day. Bye, everyone.
Cheers, everyone.